Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please subscribe to the channel. Now listen, man. This whole thing with Tyson Fury and Ngannou, for everybody who's saying Tyson Fury and Ngannou, this was a last minute plan for those guys to fight. Now I'm gonna tell you to hold your horses. And let's not take it to the stupid. Yo, Tyson Fury and Ngannou. I personally think this was part of the plan back since 2022. And I genuinely mean that. Now, there's some things I can't make sense of. But the other things that I'm like, you know, this is worth the conversation. Now, let's just take a look at this now, right? Francis Ngannou decided, right, he started wanting to get involved with boxing. Was willing to keep the party going at the UFC. Just say, let me have boxing matches as well. They didn't want to come together and collaborate, make it a win-win for the UFC and for Francis Ngannou. But during that time, where Francis Ngannou was drawing that line in the sand, it's my understanding there were already some talks about him fighting Tyson Fury, right? And we saw the kind of money Anthony Joshua was making, Wilder was making, Fury was making, right? Even Andy Ruiz, all boxers. Francis Ngannou was like, okay, it sounds like there's an opportunity for me to go out here and make some big money. And that's why when he came to the UFC and was like, hey, look, I don't mind staying with y'all, but this is kind of what I'm looking for financially. And this is the kind of deal I'm looking for. Let me tell y'all something, right? Francis Ngannou, he already performed his due diligence and he knew what was on the table for him as far as boxing matches and also the deal that would be offered by the PFL and what would happen if he went and started working with the Saudis. His thing was to Dana White in the UFC, right? This is what I truly believe. If you can give me a deal close to this, I'd rather stay here where I'm comfortable. UFC wasn't trying to play. They were like, nah, adios. So now you take a look at Tyson Fury and how he has moved, right, since the Dillian White fight. Okay? Now remember, fought the third fight with Wilder, came out victorious. Fought Chisora. Nobody could figure out why he fought Chisora. Nobody could understand why Chisora. Remember, Tyson Fury wanted a lot of money. Some guys didn't want to. Issues with the purse split. AJ, Eddie Hearn, not really wanting to risk the fight. So he ends up fighting Chisora, right? Goes on, fights Dillian White, knocks him out. But after Dillian White, look at how Fury played all this since 2022. The whole thing with him and Usyk, back and forth, finding ways to get out the deal, to not make a deal with Usyk. And I'm going to point something out to you. I think with Tyson Fury, earlier this year, with him and Usyk, right? I think there was already a poker in the fire and a plan for the Saudis to make Tyson Fury and Ngannou. Back since last year, those were talks. And I think there was already a big plan about Riyadh season. Remember, you know, this whole thing about Tyson Fury and Usyk was getting pushed back because there were this big stadium or coliseum, whatever they were building. Excuse me, right? Whatever they're building in Saudi Arabia. They were waiting to have that done. And then the plan was supposedly to have Fury, Usyk, Wilder, AJ on the same card in this, I'm gonna say in this infrastructure, right? But all of a sudden, Fury just found a way to get away from that Usyk fight. Now, I truly believe if Usyk would have agreed to everything and not come back with that BS about Tyson Fury to pay somebody to the Ukrainian people, right? I still don't think Tyson Fury would have took that fight with Usyk. That's why he didn't take it. But that's because he knew, and his team knew, there was big money there for Ngannou. That's why Ngannou was okay with going inactive as well. You see, people talking about Ngannou hasn't done anything for over a year since leaving the UFC. Let me tell you something. Ngannou was already over there signing contracts, talking with the Saudis, understanding their vision, getting ready for this Riyadh season, understanding the kind of money he was going to make. He wasn't worried about it. This has all been part of the plan, people. It was no surprise. Now, take a look at things. This whole thing with Skills Challenge Promotions, right? Tyson Fury is not signed to Skills Challenge Promotions. He's not even working with them. Usyk is signed to Skills Challenge Promotions. But when you take a look right now, I really believe this whole thing with Saudi Arabia, I think they want fighters to sign to them in order for fighters to get fights over there in Saudi Arabia. Gotta excuse me for that yawning, man. I've been doing a lot of reading. I really feel that that's what they want. And I don't know what happened to Skills Challenge Promotions. Something happened over there with the leadership. And supposedly that's why there were issues with the Wilder AJ fight coming to fruition this year. I don't know about that. But what I truly believe is that they want people to sign. They want people to sign to them, whether it's under Skills Challenge Promotion or whatever organization that they have out there. I truly believe that's what they want. Shelly Finkel was talking every day every single day with Amir Abdallah, according to Amir Abdallah, when the rumors were circulating that Deontay Wilder maybe, signing with Skills Challenge Promotion or, having a fight over there in Saudi. Remember, Wilder came out and was super excited talking about Saudi and his visit and discussions that they had. But for some reason, it didn't come together. But when you look at where we are now and how Usyk is getting this Fury fight, and he signed a Skills Challenge Promotion. He and Fury are the ones out there going to be fighting in Saudi. And I understand it's going to be part of the whole Riyadh season 6-month festival. But if you look, AJ's not fighting in Saudi. Wilder's not fighting in Saudi. And I'm going to tell you, Ngannou is out there fighting in Saudi because all these guys have signed some kind of contracts to fight exclusively for and in Saudi Arabia. Okay? Now, there's a reason why Tyson Fury said, I don't know if y'all caught it. You gotta excuse me for the yawning too. They're running hard today, boy. Training them kids in the gym, man. It's no joke. But what I was getting at is these guys who are fighting in Saudi Arabia, Ngannou, this whole deal with the PFL, partnership with Saudi, I would not be surprised, right? Because if we start seeing more of these big name fighters come on over to Saudi Arabia, and this is amazing, right? When you look at it, look at the timeline of all this. A couple of years ago, the rumor started circulating that Showtime was going out of business, right? No more boxing. And then all of a sudden, Saudi says, you know what? Let's really make a strong push for this boxing thing. They got the money. They have the Sovereign Wealth Fund. The fund has billions of dollars. I think it's almost $1 billion, maybe billions of dollars in there, right? I think what I read was 700 something, like million, like almost $1 billion. Somebody said 700 something billion. That Sovereign Wealth Fund doesn't have. That's not what I read, but about $1 billion in there for them to just spend it on whatever they want to spend it on when it comes to advancing Saudi Arabia to help people see it as a destination, right? But when you take it back, it almost makes sense that they knew that this is the point that would be reached in boxing to where things are going to start dying off. And that was their time to strike while the iron was hot. Now you look at the position they're in. They've created this nest, right? And there's a huge nest. And they only have a couple of eggs in that nest. Usyk, Badu Jack, Tyson Fury now, and some local fighter. But other than that, there's enough space in that nest for another probably 1,000 fighters, 1,000 eggs. And I really believe that if PBC can't get this stuff straight, I don't know how all that's going to work, because I would think you got to promise to give your fighters a certain amount of fights a year, right? And if you're not doing that and fulfilling your parts of the contract, I would think that would give some of those fighters an out. And if they're willing to go and sign to Saudi Arabia, I would think that they would get their careers back on track and start to make some good money. But I'm telling you right now, people, this thing that's going on in Saudi, this thing with Tyson Fury and Ngannou isn't a discussion that just bubbled up, 6 months ago. And I really think it started probably before 2022. You can't make me believe that Francis Ngannou would just want to roll the dice the way he did and all of this just come together. There's so much more to the story. The fact that these guys have to fight, over there in Saudi. I think that may be the deal breaker for some fighters, where they don't want to basically just, it's almost like giving up all your rights and now going over there and being controlled and having things dictated to you. I just can't see a lot of people really wanting to do that. But greed is something else, man. And when you take a look right now with Tyson Fury's situation, possibility of being sued by the Saudis because his face is broken, but he signed a contract saying he would be fighting on the 23rd of December. But I'm very curious to really understand how come AJ and Wilder and the deal and them fighting in Saudi, why did that fall off? I believe some things Hearn says, other things I don't believe what Hearn says. But the more I think about it, and reading through here about Devin Haney as well, there were talks with Devin Haney, but Devin Haney wasn't signing out there. For some reason, he didn't sign. Don't know why he didn't, but he chose not to. Something's just off. Something is off. But I'm going to sit back and see how all this plays out. But I truly believe Tyson Fury and Ngannou and the Saudis all on the same page. Had the boxing match, Ngannou fight, the MMA fights, and still box because he signed a deal with those guys out there. And he gets everything he wants in Ngannou, the flexibility to box and fight in MMA matches, but also the Saudis get what they want as someone where they can use the results from his fights to benefit the country. Tyson Fury went out there and signed his life away, kind of like AJ signed his life away to the zone. Fury did it with Saudi. Fury's out here making crazy money. But as a result, he's got to keep working as long as they say, this is how long we need you. Tyson Fury is talking about doing another 10 fights. Where did that come from? I'm going to tell you where that came from. Because he went out there to Saudi and the money, saw the money. And, you know, we're going to see how this all works out. But I'm telling you right now, he's probably feeling a little bit like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have chased after that. And my thing is this, right? How much money is enough? That's all I'm saying. Don't get me wrong, becoming a billionaire, it'd probably be cool. But to know that, I think I'm going to save that comment I was about to say, but I just don't see things ending well for Tyson Fury. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. And I don't have anything funny to say. I'm a little bit tired. But I just, when I look at all this, I'm trying to put it together. So I'm rambling a little bit. But let me tell y'all, this thing here, we're going to see how it plays out over the next year. But I'm telling you, something ain't right. Something's not right. And I just don't think it's going to end well. I just don't think it's going to end well. And I don't mind being wrong, but I'm just telling you, man, when I look at what the hell's going on. I mean, look at the big fight they had. Jake Paul out there with Tommy Fury. It's another Fury. You know, John Fury out here trying to call out Mike Tyson. He trying to fight, make deals to fight. So John Fury is out there, man, could possibly have a fight now. Not again, if it's not against Mike Tyson, against somebody. So now John Fury's out here fighting. I mean, what the hell's what's really going on? And there's not a whole lot of information, but for me, I think we need to keep digging to get a better understanding of what's unfolding in front of our eyes. Because I think there could be some good to it, which is the money. But outside of that, I mean, when you look at everything else, I don't think we have enough information to say if everything else is good about it. But just the fact that that article came out about a lawsuit, that just left like a bad taste in my mouth. Like, you know what, man, there's something else going on here. And I just think fighters who get caught up in that web, that money's good. If you can get your money and bounce, great. But it doesn't seem like it works that way. Because, you know, I learned this shit in economics class. Macro and micro. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Everything costs something. And Tyson Fury is learning that ain't no such thing as a free lunch. You'll get a lunch, but it ain't free. And it's going to be hard to digest that meal. And that's what Tyson Fury is going through right now. He's digesting that, trying to digest it and having a tough time. He better get some Pepto-Bismol or bust a loud fart to get that shit out of his stomach, because I don't think it's going to get any more comfortable for him based on whatever he signed in that contract and that $200+ million that he's going to be receiving over the course of that contract. I just have a feeling it's not going to end good for him. With Francis Ngannou, right now he seems to be just fine. He came out I think he came out on the upside of things with his performance against Tyson Fury. But, you know, going forward, let's see what happens with Francis Ngannou. I mean, Francis Ngannou's approaching 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how much further is he trying to take this? You know, how much longer does he have to fight? He gonna be out here in his 50s fighting? I mean, what do these guys sign up to? You know, Saudis ain't just gonna give you money, man. It's not. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, they're gonna want something in return, and it's not gonna be. I don't think so clear, cut, and dry. I just don't think so. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. Tyson Fury and Ngannou, this was all planned since 2022. I think there had been talks prior to that. That's why this Usyk stuff, you saw them jostling dates, and Tyson Fury would never commit because there was already pokers in the fire and discussions about what they wanted when it came to Riyadh season. And Riyadh season was the priority. Okay? Quite simple. Quite simple. It all boils down to what was being discussed and what the Saudis wanted for Riyadh season and the money that they were waving in front of Tyson Fury's face. He went out here, he and Ngannou, they made the fight. He took that man lightly, and Ngannou showed up and showed out. Tyson Fury has a broken face, and he has to fight on 23 December. So let's see how it plays out. But if Tyson Fury goes through that fight on 23 December, this is just part of what I was saying, where we're going to see things not ending up well for Tyson Fury. And I think he will lose to Usyk. I don't care what you say. The kind of bruises that he had, man, and the getting hit with sledgehammer-like fists from Ngannou, Tyson Fury is not going to be in any position to be doing any sparring or anything like that. And I tell you what, these fights are taking place over there in Saudi. I don't know who the ringside doctor is. I don't know who the physician is or the physicians are. Let me tell you something. If they want to get a fighter signed off to get out there and fight, which I think Tyson Fury will go and do, right? Because I do think Tyson Fury deserves to have the hairy eyeball on him. Tyson Fury could go out there chasing that money, and I personally think he's going to lose to Usyk. I didn't think that before, but now that we see how things are unfolding, I am very concerned about Tyson Fury, who I think would hands down should beat Usyk, but I just think Usyk has a little bit of an upper hand now. And I just think, with that being said, I just think the fight's there for Usyk to win. We got to wait and see how that plays out, though. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Keep trying to peel this back. And I'm in the breeze.